Ladies and gentlemen, the loot pool in Beyond Light has been a little smaller than many people expected, including myself. But most of the weapons that we did get, I've been pretty happy with. And one in particular that I've really taken a shine to is the Arctic Haze auto rifle. This is a rapid fire auto rifle, and up to this point, if you were looking for one that wasn't due to be sunset, they weren't all that easy to come by. You could buy Tommy's matchbook out of the weapon kiosk at the tower if you didn't get yours back in Season of the Worthy. The Reckless Oracle, from what I hear, is pretty solid, but this can only be obtained in the Garden of Salvation raid. Or you could equip one of my longtime favorites, the Steel Feather Repeater, if you got it out of the Sundial back in Season of Dawn. And I'm not 100% sure on this, but I don't think that the Sundial weapons were added back in with the loot pool expansion that happened this past week. So, Steel Feather Repeater still could be unobtainable. But finally, provided you own Beyond Light, you have a very farmable and very accessible legendary rapid fire auto rifle to acquire. If you don't have an Arctic Haze yet or don't know where to find one, finish the Beyond Light campaign, unlock Europa and Explorer 1 in Varric's Sabotage menu, and then tab over to page 2 of his inventory and select the appropriate weapon quest. And I gotta say, since I got my preferred role on Arctic Haze, it's been really tough for me to put it down, regardless of which aspect of D2 I'm playing. So we'll take a look at this auto rifle and see what's drawn me to it. And if at any point during the course of this video you find it useful, helpful, or enjoyable, please remember to leave it a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you've not done so already. But with that, let's start things off with a quick look at this weapon's stats and perks. Arctic Haze is a legendary solar rapid-fire auto rifle shooting at 720 rounds per minute with a base 50 rounds in the magazine. For the base stats when compared to other rapid-fire auto rifles, they all pretty much fall in line. Nothing is abnormally high or low in comparison. Checking the hidden stats on light.gg, we do have an aim assist value of 75, which again falls in line with other rapid-fire autos, but they are inherently strong in this department. We do have a bounce intensity of 58 and a recoil direction that will pull this weapon to the right as it fires. Intrinsically, rapid-fire auto rifles do have deeper ammo reserves, and the reload speed is sped up a bit when the magazine is empty. And the role that we're looking at here I think is a really nice PvP, PvE hybrid role, and rapid-fire autos do notoriously come up a little bit short in the range stat, but this role really helps boost that up. The barrel I've been running is extended barrel for the increased range and recoil control, with a small hit to the handling speed. For the magazine, I've been using accurized rounds for the added range. In perk column 1, I've been loving Killing Wind on this weapon. This increases the weapon's range and handling, and gives your Guardian a mobility boost for a short duration after a kill. And in perk column 2, I have the newly introduced Thresh, generating a small amount of super energy with each kill. And this Arctic Haze does have a masterwork in the range department. Here's the full perk set on screen, and there are a few things to take note of. First, we don't have high caliber rounds, ricochet rounds, or armor piercing rounds as a magazine option. Second, in perk column 1, light.gg has Outlaw highlighted as the top tier option, but honestly I would take Killing Wind any day of the week. But also I think Triple Tap and Subsistence are really nice ammo regeneration perks for this weapon archetype. In perk column 2, I do agree that Thresh and Vorpal weapon are both really nice options, but if you notice, there's no raw damage dealing perks that we can apply to this weapon here. But with that covered, let's talk about this weapon's performance in PvE. For PvE, I really do find this weapon to be quite useful, but I don't want to harp on it for too long here, because we are looking at a legendary primary weapon whose main job is ad clearing. But Arctic Haze, in this role in particular, does do a very good job at this. First, we do have that range stat, which is pushed up pretty much as high as we can get it on this weapon, making rounds fired reach out just a little bit further, while at the same time increasing bullet accuracy. And since we are using this weapon predominantly to clear ads, both Killing Wind and Thresh are always working for us. First, Killing Wind pushes that range stat up even further when it's active, and allows for quick aim down sight speed and weapon swap speed when necessary. Plus we're getting that free mobility boost for our Guardian, and I mean, who doesn't want more mobility? Then with Thresh we are getting a small amount of super energy back with each enemy killed. Now I didn't go extremely deep into testing this perk because I think this could be a video all on its own. But what I did do is I killed 8 harpies and then 3 major targets. Once with Thresh and once without. With Thresh, my super cooldown was 15 seconds quicker. And this is a pretty small sample size of enemies, so it's definitely gonna add up, especially when you figure in the ad density that we're seeing in Beyond Light with some of the missions and activities. So if you're someone who prioritizes having your super up as often and as quick as possible, I really think Thresh is gonna be a top tier perk for you. Aside from that, this is a legendary weapon, so it can be masterwork to generate orbs, and the solar damage is a nice benefit against applicable targets. But with that, let's hop into the PvP side of things and check out Arctic Haze's damage numbers and performance. Alright, starting off with the damage numbers. Arctic Haze is hitting for 21 points of damage on a crit and 14 points of damage to the body. This puts our optimal time to kill at 0.77 seconds by landing 9 crits and 1 body shot, and the body shot time to kill comes in at 1.17 seconds with 15 shots landed. Taking a look at the Thresh perk, my base super cooldown is 5 minutes. So what I did is I ran back and forth across the map and killed Agent Sparkles 9 times with a weapon that does not have Thresh on it. Then I repeated the same process with Arctic Haze. And unfortunately, the results were exactly the same. The 9 kills shaved 1 minute and 20 seconds off my super cooldown, but we did not see any additional benefit from the Thresh perk. I'm gonna look into this a little bit further, but it appears that Thresh does not work in PvP. For the optimal range on this Arctic Haze, we will be hitting for full damage from 27 meters in. Past 27 meters, we do see damage fall off. With Killing Wind though, not only do we see the passive benefits for 7 seconds after a kill, but we are able to stretch our range a little bit. Now hitting for full damage from up to 31 meters away, but do keep in mind Killing Wind will expire if you swap weapons. And performance-wise, I've always had an affinity for 720 auto rifles, and in this sandbox, they're actually pretty strong. Both adaptive auto rifles and the bulk of hand cannons saw their time to kills reduced. So rapid fire autos are outpacing both of them in respect to their optimal and body shot time to kills. And actually, when you look at the auto rifle weapon class as a whole, rapid fire frames do boast the best optimal and body shot time to kills now. And generally for this archetype, like we talked about earlier, range is the biggest handicap, making them almost feel like extended range SMGs. But with the role we have here on this Arctic Haze, the range stat is getting an extra 30 points added onto it through the attachments and the masterwork. And I mean, this is a significant amount. And in-game, both the increased physical range and the increased bullet accuracy make this auto rifle feel pretty awesome. Then as we talked about in the PvE section, once you secure a kill, you're getting all of those additional benefits from Killing Wind. And this can prove really useful in the Crucible, because while rapid fire auto rifles do have strong marks in reload and stability, they aren't fantastic in the handling department. And sometimes, switching to your off weapon quicker than your opponent can be the difference between winning and losing a gunfight. Plus, Killing Wind is giving us more range, and I mean, we're already stacked up pretty well in that category, but why not a little more? Plus, the increased mobility from the perk is fantastic since auto rifles do demand that you maintain line of sight to hit your optimal time to kill. So here again, being able to side strafe more quickly can cause your opponent to miss their shots, and this can be the difference between winning and losing a gunfight. We do have a few drawbacks to consider, and first, Thresh presumably not working in PvP is kinda disappointing. And I'm not sure if this is a bug or if this is intentional, but having a perk on a weapon that is only valid in one side of the game is unfortunate. And as we touched on earlier, you do need to maintain line of sight and track your target with an auto rifle. This results in extended time out of cover. Then in the current sandbox, you do need to be wary of hand cannons. Since the changes went into place, many of them are able to maintain full damage from outside of the Arctic Haze's 27 meter range. And even though the base time to kill is better on rapid fire auto rifles, a good handful of hand cannons do have the ability to 2-tap with buffs applied. And when looking at some of them like Ace, Sturm, or other 120 RPM hand cannons, they can do so from extended ranges. So you're definitely going to want to be a little bit more mindful of what you're squaring off against. And lastly, this weapon does sit in the energy slot, so if you're looking to run a special kinetic weapon, your options are a little more limited post sunsetting. Now if you're going into non-power enabled content, I mean just use whatever you want. But if you are heading into Trials or Iron Banner, your special kinetic weapon options are just going to be a little slim. So for the verdict, I mean, yeah, I really like this gun. I've always liked rapid fire auto rifles. And due to the shift in the PvP landscape with Beyond Light, it opened the door for this archetype to get a little more breathing room, and I really think they're performing quite well. And given the fact that we can push this weapon's range stat up by like 30 points, more if you factor in Killing Wind, this may be one of the best 720 auto rifles, sunset or not. Then in PvP, we simply have a great ad clearing weapon that feeds your super. I mean, there's really not much more I can ask for from a legendary. So all in all, I find Arctic Haze to be a very nice weapon, and I don't see it leaving my inventory for quite some time. But if you did enjoy this video, please remember to leave it a like and consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel to see more Destiny 2 content made by yours truly. If you'd like to catch me live sometime, you can look for Ironworker814 on Twitch, drop me a follow, and you'll get notified whenever I hop on. And to contact me, the best way to do so is simply comment down below. I'll be sure to get back to you. And with all that being said, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out this weapon review. You guys are awesome, and I'll catch you on the next one.